You're as cold as ice. You're willing to sacrifice our love.
Well, we hope that you aren't cold as ice, and we don't want you to think that we're cold as ice,
No.
but freezers are cold.
Yeah, they are.
They should
As
be.
ice.
Hi, I'm Cindy Dole.
Hey, I'm Eric Stromer.
And we're talking freezers here on Home Wizards because, it's amazing that we aren't using our freezers the right way lots of times. And we're missing opportunities to freeze other things that we may not realize we could freeze and save, save money and save our food a little longer.
Yeah, this is an interesting thing for me because I just went through this with my mom yesterday on the phone, the great Sally Stromer.
Oh, really?
Because I love to buy stuff in bulk.
Yeah, me too.
Like at the big bar, like Costco or whatever.
Yeah.
But I'm always overwhelmed that it's too much and I'm not going to eat it all and I'm going to waste money and I've never really done the freezing meat and then thawing it out, and cooking it thing.
Oh,
I don't know why. I just never felt like it was going to be as good.
Oh.
She claims it's fine with meat. Chicken she doesn't like frozen.
Mm-hmm.
Meat, no problem. So what are some of the things you're thinking of that could save money and help us buy in bulk?
Well, first let's talk about how the freezer preserves food itself.
All right. Yeah.
Right? So the freezer basically controls the food. Food will break down over time. Right? And so unless, of course, there's some preservative added. Well, the refrigerator slows down that process of decay. And even at the lower temperatures, i.e. your freezer, believe it or not, the bacteria is further slowed, although it's not killed.
So it can survive.
So it's going to, in other words, you can't freeze food forever. It's not going to be good forever. You can extend the life of food for maybe months, some types of food maybe up to a year.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I'll occasionally, I clean my freezer out maybe 3 times a year, right?
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, because so much junk goes in there with the kid food and the frozen stuff, right? And I'll find these creepy things. I don't even know what they are, but they're frozen with crystals on them, and that's the mistake. I don't label stuff that I put in, and I don't put dates on, so you just don't know. It could be in there 3 months or 3 weeks. Right?
So raise your right hand.
Okay,
we're gonna get a Sharpie. I, Eric Stormer, is going to get a Sharpie and some freezer bags.
And some freezer bags.
And that's it.
Okay, good.
Okay. So, but before we do that, let's, the other thing is, and that's great that you are cleaning out your freezer because I think a lot of us get busy and that's not one of our favorite to-dos.
When I start seeing peas pour out on the floor, frozen peas just tumble onto the floor, I know it's time.
Yeah.
Because everything's gone nuts in there.
So use the grocery store as a guide. Like if the supermarket is freezing things, that pretty much means that you can freeze things.
Okay, that makes sense.
I mean, they're everything from turkeys to chicken to seafood, beef, even fruits and baked goods.
Well, now I do keep fruit in there for the smoothies because I put the frozen bananas in there.
That's
peel
awesome.
them, freeze
That's
them, put
smart.
them in the blender, boom,
That's
done.
very smart,
Yeah.
okay? And of course, even in vegetables go in the freezer. But here's a pro tip. Stuff that can sucker up. The more stuff that you have, like packed. Now we're talking first about the freezer that might be either in your refrigerator, like it's up top, or maybe it's a pull-out drawer at the bottom.
Okay.
You might also have, like we have an additional box freezer that we have.
Gotta get one of those.
That's that's the spillover that we use for like the membership shopping.
Do you like when you thaw meat out? You think it tastes fine?
Perfect.
Really?
Yeah.
You can't tell a difference.
No.
If we put one on a plate versus the other, you wouldn't know.
I wouldn't know.
All right, I'll try it.
Yeah, it's great. Like for
How
brisket.
So you just thaw it in a fridge or in water in the fridge?
Well, we'll get to that.
All right,
but yeah,
all right,
there's
go
different
ahead.
ways to do
All
it.
right.
But yeah, but so in terms of the freezer itself, like you don't want to, in terms of the energy that it's using, you want to make sure that it isn't all like packed in there. You got like the lean cuisines, and you've got your little smoothie things and the frozen peas, and it's all kind of cattywampus in there because basically it's not going to get as cold, and therefore it's not going to keep the food preserved as long.
Right.
So. Anyway.
And sometimes I've found that when the freezer's packed, the seal on the door isn't effective, and that's when you start seeing like the ice creams get freezer burned and crystals are forming on them because
Ziploc bags.
Yeah, there you go. Okay.
Here's another tip, by the way.
Yeah.
When you do come around to cleaning out your freezer, get a couple of additional freezer Ziploc bags and put ice cubes in them.
Okay.
And store them in the back of the freezer in the nooks and crannies. And it's going to help 2 ways. It's going to basically, if there's a power outage, will help keep your food cold longer, right? but also it'll just kind of preserve those areas where they may not be getting the cold as well because you have it overstuffed.
Oh, I see.
So just get a few of those and put them in the back.
Gotcha.
So now you asked how to store food in the freezer,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So most items need a little prep before they go into the deep freeze. So
Okay.
for instance, like you might, if you're going to do fruit, to wash and cut it up beforehand. If you're going to put like vegetables, you might need to like blanch them, especially like fresh vegetables. Or if you're just kind of on the lazy side, you can just shove extra corn and green beans, from the farmer's market straight into the bag, into the freezer. But just be careful though, if there's light, air, and water in the bag, that all contributes to decay.
Okay.
So you need that bag or any other container to be air-free and watertight.
Got it.
Are you with me?
Yeah, I'm with you.
Because
Yeah.
otherwise, the food is going to get freezer burn or mush or all these. And then you say the flavor is bad. It's because of those things. But if it's airtight, watertight, and no light's getting in, you're good to go.
You're good to go. Okay.
Yeah.
So you wanna squeeze all the air out before
Of the bag, yeah.
I see.
'Cause a lot of times it's easy because as you poof it in, you put it into the bag and it still has little pockets of air.
Sure, that's the trouble.
That's the problem because
Okay.
there's the bacteria gets in there and away it starts to decay it away.
Gotcha.
Right?
Yep.
By the way, there's some dairy things that you can also freeze. Believe it or not, eggs.
See, now I don't understand that. Like what? You're making egg ice cubes?
Hang on a second.
All right.
You can actually, eggs raw or cooked can be frozen. I haven't tried this
Really?
yet, but
Cooked?
this is the word. If you're freezing them raw, don't leave them in the shell. Instead, you use an ice cube tray
Okay.
and you just open up each egg and you put it, you can freeze it separated, egg whites and yolks, or put it all together, but using the ice cube tray, and then you can label it, okay? And then you'll put that inside a container or a Ziploc baggie and make sure that stays flat on it if you have like a nice ledge in your freezer.
Yeah,
Are you
but
with me?
then to use it, what do? You just you get an ice cube out that's an egg.
Sure.
And what? You just dump it in a pan like a frozen.
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Oh man, that just feels like it's going to be bad. It tastes okay.
I haven't done it yet,
I'm going to try
but
that one.
I think you got to try it because you're a
Or
big
do you have to?
egg eater.
I eat eggs every day. Do you think
See?
I have to thaw it and then cook it, or just put it in the cube in the pan?
I think you can put the cube in the pan.
All right, I'll try it.
So, by
I'll
the
let you
way,
know.
low moisture types of cheese like Parmesan can be frozen.
Okay.
Okay, a lot of types of cheeses that can be shredded do really well in the freezer, but very creamy or soft cheeses like brie
Yeah. Probably not.
shouldn't
so
be
good.
frozen.
Yeah. Okay.
Can you believe this? Sour cream and cream cheese
Boy, I'll tell
can
you.
be
When I
frozen.
buy it for taco night, it sits there and then
I know, and then you miss
I just
the date.
throw it out.
Well, guess what? You're better off. You can put it in the freezer. You're better off using them as part of a recipe and freezing it rather
Okay.
than just putting the container
The
of
tub
sour
of- yeah,
cream.
okay.
But let's say if you could remember, like not only did you have it for taco night, but then you use the leftover for some kind of a creamy sauce or something.
Yeah.
You put that in a container and you're good.
Okay.
Okay.
Gotcha.
And by the way, fresh herbs can be frozen. You have to prepare them properly. You got to dice them and then put them into little ice cube trays.
Well, see, now this is a good use of ice cube trays. I didn't know you
Yeah.
could do all this stuff.
Yeah. So imagine getting your ice cube tray, and you can think of this as like nice herb water, herb tea, right? You put your herbs,
That's a great idea.
herbs,
That is a great
herb
idea.
ice cubes.
Yes, like mint, and then you
In,
open it up in the ice tray,
pop
put it in the hot
cube
tea.
or iced tea.
Man, I
See?
like it.
So again, get
That's a
your
great
herbs.
idea.
Get your herbs at whether it's from your garden or from
Yeah.
the produce section. This is our Home Wizards tip of the day. And then get one of these ice cube trays and put a couple in each tray, and then fill the rest with water. Slide that into your freezer.
See, wouldn't that be cool? You go to someone's house. Say you go to my house. I say, hey, you want tea? You say, yeah. I say, guess what? What?
A little mint.
Here's a little mint in your tea.
I'd love it.
You know what it is, don't you?
It's from your ice cubes.
That's right.
So there you go. By the way, I know you're a big guy on soups. So
Yeah.
beef, chicken, and vegetable stock. We do this with our turkey every year because I love making turkey soup after Thanksgiving. But you have so much stock it's left over. And
Yes,
you can't.
do.
I mean, I make a
And
batch of soup.
That's precious nectar,
That's
isn't
the
it?
precious nectar. So
Yeah.
I make a batch of soup, but then I have leftover stock to then put that in the
And
freezer
that's
bags.
not a problem.
No.
You can freeze that stuff.
You can
So,
freeze-
so then when I open chicken stock when I'm making gravy, I could probably freeze that
Yes.
in another container.
in another container.
All right.
Okay, and just try portioning it out. Maybe again, in the ice cube trays to crack out a few cubes as you cook. Maybe you don't need, if you aren't going to make a whole big batch of soup, let's say. You just
Yeah.
want this stock for like a quick little stir fry.
Sure.
Or a dish. Imagine the handiness of just getting the cube.
Much easier.
I don't know about you, but I'm stocking up on at least a dozen
I'm
of
getting
these
some ice
cube
trays.
trays.
Yeah, I don't know what I've been thinking.
Isn't that fun?
That's great.
So your marinara sauce, soups, sauces.
Well, then
all-
back to my crazy smoothies. If I were to do some fresh squeezed orange juice or regular juice, freeze it in the cubes, put that in the blender. See, because then it gets like that. How they get them at the Jamba Juice place. You know,
yeah.
when you get that.
Ice crystals.
Yes, I'm doing it.
Like a float almost.
Whoever, you know what? I'm coming. Whoever sells those ice trays, I'm coming. I'm
I'm
cleaning
coming
you
to
out.
get you.
Here I go.
See, isn't that
Yep.
great? All right, now here's another one. Beyond the soups and the sauces and the marinades, well, there's more that you can put in the freezer. We'll just get to that in just a second. Eric Stormer, Cindy Dole, you're listening to Home Wizards because we love to improve your home and improve your life, and that just might mean with an ice cube tray.
Through the town. Sooner or later.
Okay, so here's a tip. Speaking of freezers,
Yeah.
always keep like a milk carton or plastic bag in your freezer. And then what happens is if you have like onion, carrot peelings, celery stalks, poultry bones, whatever,
Right.
that might go in the trash, instead you put it in this freezer. And then when you thaw it out, you have basically something to make your homemade stock.
Yes, that's a good idea.
And
actually.
but you label it veggies for stock.
Sure.
I'm Cindy Dole.
I'm Eric Stromer.
And this is Home Wizards, and we're talking about ways that you can maximize your freezer. But isn't that cool? So
yeah, because
imagine
again, it's just waste,
it's
right?
and so you're collecting these yummy, scraps.
You don't do it, you're
and
wasting.
it's gonna be good for the stock later, right?
Great. That's a great idea.
So
Nothing like homemade stock,
I know,
right?
especially with that celery. That celery root is what does it.
Yep.
Don't freeze any kind of fruit or vegetable that's kind of watery. So, for instance, cucumber.
Yeah, it doesn't work, does it? Gets too like crystalish or something.
Any kind of vegetable or fruit it's going to get mushy
Yeah.
and tasteless.
Yeah, no good. So don't do that. What else? Like watermelon probably doesn't freeze.
Any
well.
kind of
Yeah.
melon, apple, citrus, you know what I
Right.
mean? Just think of anything that's juicy. Any kind of
Yeah,
fruit or
yeah.
vegetable that just, is just
But the berries work well. The bananas
Berries are
work
good.
great.
Right.
Veggies work great.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
So now how long do you think that these different things can stay in the freezer?
See, this is my age-old question. What do you? I don't know.
Well, there are different websites you can go to. I mean, it's a kind of a long list, and we'll put it on our website too, but we can just talk about a few. I mean, the FDA is the one, they came out with these guidelines, and you probably could just Google FDA freezer guidelines.
Okay.
But so, for instance, back to the eggs, you can freeze eggs, raw, yolks, whites, and all. In the refrigerator, it might last 4 days. In the freezer, are you ready for this? A year.
Really?
A year.
That's a long time.
I know.
But you got to label, otherwise you lose track.
I
And
know.
then it looks creepy and you don't want to use it.
And you're wasting space.
Yep.
How about some of those frozen meals, like those lean cuisines and things like that, or
Yeah.
even frozen casseroles?
What's the life on those?
3 to 4 months.
That's
I
good.
bet. I know that we have some in our freezer. They're probably a year or two old.
Yeah.
Time to get rid of them.
Guess where that's going?
Where's it going?
Bailey or Abby's dish.
That could be the
Yeah.
sheepdogs.
Yeah.
How about some of those deli or vacuum pack products? That you might see, like pre-stuffed pork.
Well, like
and
bacon,
lamb.
for example. You can freeze bacon, right?
You can, but I mean the whole idea of these deli vacuum packed,
Okay,
vacuum
yeah,
packed
yeah.
ideas.
Like turkey, ham.
Guess what?
What?
Doesn't freeze well. The vacuum packed products, like the store prepared homemade chicken, tuna, ham. When you go to the salad bars.
Yeah.
Because again,
Yeah.
it's the water. You don't want to have
No,
water,
okay.
air, or light.
Yeah.
That's going
and
to
they
mess
have
with
a lot of that brine in them.
The raw hamburger, you can freeze that for 4 months. I know I've tried to freeze it for longer. We got to change that.
Yeah.
Hot dogs and lunch meats, 2 months maybe.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Bacon. Back to your question about bacon. Maybe a month.
Okay.
Soups and stews, 2 to 3 months. And then fish, like if you have, shrimp, lobster, whatever, up to 6 months. Anyway, it's kind of
Well,
a long
that's
list.
good to know.
But yeah, those are all the ideas. And then now, in terms of organizing your freezer? Have you
Yeah.
taken a look at how it's laid out so that you can find the stuff?
Well, see, I did that. I believe I did an effective job. I put
did.
I
So
put the
what-
frozen fruits in one basket. We have a couple of pull-out baskets.
And when you
I-
say frozen fruits, you mean
like store-bought fruit,
Oh, gotcha.
fruits for the smoothies.
Gotcha.
Okay, I did that in one area. I did the TV dinner type things
Sure.
in one.
Uh-huh.
And then the boxed stuff, on the top shelf, so it's easy to see the most frequently used items, and then the ice cream's on the door, so Daddy can get at it fast. Last night, this is kind of overwhelmingly disgusting. I ate a pint of pistachio nut ice cream, just laying there like a blimp.
Sloth.
Just loving every minute of it. Passed out, woke up, saw that there was an empty container of pistachio ice cream, almost as if I was possessed by some sort of demon.
Oh, you didn't really do it.
I really did
You
it.
couldn't help it.
I couldn't help it.
Well, you know what they say: if you eat it standing up or lying down, it doesn't count.
Yeah, thank
Supposedly.
you. That's good to know.
The calories don't go through.
Right.
No. So other things to remove, basically any other leftovers. That is the key. So now, do you put leftovers in your freezer?
That is a rare thing because
Okay.
here's the pecking order. It goes kids, pets, garbage. Rarely freezer.
Okay.
Yeah, but I'm changing my ways now that I've heard this whole.
Well,
Yeah, I did not trust
and
or
think
know
of
this.
and think of this: how
Yeah.
organized you could be, because you could have pre-made meals.
See, that's what I'm lacking.
You could do a couple of things
Yeah.
on the weekend. Make a couple of casseroles, put them in containers or whatever, and then you're good. They're labeled. They're ready to stay
Thaw
for 6
them
months.
out, ready to go for dinner.
Yeah.
I got to do that. That's
Is-
my missing ingredient.
As long as there's no air or water
Okay.
or light, because if it's kind of watered down or there are air bubbles, then you're not going to like how it tastes.
No, there's nothing worse than the stuff coming out bad. But seriously, if I get too much into this freezer thing, Hazel's gonna hate me, my dog, because Hazel gets.
She counts on the stuff.
Boy, she doesn't even eat her own dog food anymore because she
Wow.
knows that a piece of pork roast
Brisket
is
or
showing up
something.
soon. You know what I mean?
Well, anyway, so make sure too that when you're shopping for things for your kitchen supplies, that you shop for freezer storage containers.
Yeah. Good idea, because the freezer bags are essential, and they have to be able to be labeled.
Well, and not only the bags, but maybe you get little clear plastic containers with lids. They make those too that are freezer ready.
Right.
But you would first, like anything, make sure you know the measurements of your freezer space
Got it.
before you go to get your freezer.
Yeah, you don't want to get too overwhelmingly big. It won't fit. I don't think my freezer's designed well. I really don't. I think freezer design. I like the door better. The slide out drawer. I think better. What do you
Well,
think?
and you can make amendments. You can get some like freezer
I
baskets.
got to get one of those things you have, the outdoor
box
freezer, the
freezer.
box
You
one.
can
That's
get
what I need.
But for your refrigerator freezer, try
Yeah.
some of these. They have freezer lockers. It's this product that it's called the freezer locker, and it basically is a way to lock in, the flavor, and it gives you more of an organization. It's almost like this little mesh plastic device that you would envision in an athletic locker.
So almost
like a basket.
they're stackable within the freezer itself.
It's a plastic stackable
Oh, that's great.
box, and so you could put things.
See, that's the problem with the freezer. It's all these odd-shaped bags
You need-
that can't have. They don't have square
you
edges.
need shelving. You need almost
There
like
you go.
shelving.
That's
in
a
your,
great idea.
so
What's that called?
It's called a freezer locker. You can go online and check. In fact, they're sold at the Container Store. So
That's a great idea.
make sure too that you get magnetic tape, because it's all about the labeling, right? And the tape. It may not help you organize everything in your freezer, but it's going to help you make sure that you know what's going on, and then it'll help you also get your shopping list going, because at a glance you can see and keep inventory.
Okay.
Because you probably, how many times are you going to the store and buying stock when you already might have had it in the freezer?
There's no. Hey, I got 10 boxes of it right now, sitting on the shelf.
Yeah.
Yeah. Great
So-
idea. I love that box idea. I'm getting that.
So again, it's called the freezer locker. So check that out. And these freezer baskets are also very helpful. Similar is it that you can stack them. You know what I mean? Because most of us have. How high would you say a typical freezer is? Maybe a foot high,
Right.
and maybe 3-4 feet across.
Right.
And you're kind of like, and how deep?
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
it's
That's
not-
right.
It's
Yeah.
maybe the depth
That
of an ice cube tray.
It's depth of a cabinet. That's it.
Yeah. And so you need to really maximize
You
how you
sure
use
do.
it.
Yeah.
Anyway, we'll put all this on the website as always at yourhomewizards.com. Hope you had fun hanging out with us.
Absolutely.
Eric Stromer, Cindy Dole, remember this, and until next time, that the key is always under the map. Go to the website, listen to past shows, find ways where you can make those spaces just a little bit better.
Get inspired and do some stuff this weekend. You'll
and
have
maybe
fun.
clean out your freezer.
I don't know why you wouldn't.
Find a way to stock up on food for next time, right?
Right.
Anyway, thanks so much for hanging with us. Home Wizards. Improve your home, improve your life.